Hey everyone, we are back with the next installment of our Making a Game from Scratch in Construct 2 with Corey, who's here with me now. Say hi, Corey.
Hey, how's it going?
And we've got quite a bit of things we're going to try to accomplish. And what we're doing now is stuff Corey and I discussed a while back, where now when you destroy enemies, what we want to happen is they're going to leave these energy orbs behind. Sort of like if you've ever seen or played God of War, or a lot of God of War type clones that have been out over the last 10 or so years. When you kill an enemy, these magic orbs come out, and if you get even close to them, you kind of absorb them. In the case of this game, they're going to come out and they're going to automatically float quickly up toward either this left meter thing here up in the HUD or the right one. And this one here, the blue one, is for magical energy to fill, and this one is for health type energy to fill. But it's not directly your own magical energy. What you're doing is gathering these magical energy types into the magic gauntlet, so to speak, but basically this energy is going to be used by the wizard who's helping you remotely. You're collecting this energy, and that's the way you're earning the pickups that are going to fly by. So the more enemies you kill, the more quickly, and depending on the type of energy, different enemies will drop more of these different types of energies. And that's the way you earn your next power-up or health regeneration pickup that will be coming along in the level, as you might recall it. Flies overhead horizontally, and you have to do your high jump to grab it as it's passing overhead. So that's the goal. And actually, before we get into the first thing we're going to do, I should mention I updated the HUD image to now have these empty orbs in the gauntlet, and then Corey made these nice animations of each orb filling up, which I think it's 7 frames to fill up.
Right, yeah, 7.
All right, so we're going to go with that. And then, so same thing here, but with a red color scheme, and this has a blue. And then the other things that he made that we're going to be using is a larger version of the explosion for when you get the fire power. When you air bash the flying enemies and they go flying in the ground and hit it, depending on how powerful your fire power is, they will explode on the ground, and then the explosion can damage more enemies. And then he also made this, which is hard to, there we go, that looks better. This is the pickup for the firepower. Oh yeah, and then this is the actual effect that will play when you grab either of the two pickups, the health pickup or the firepower pickup as they go flying by. I think that's all the art that was added. So now it's just getting into making this stuff all work. And the first thing we're going to need to do is make the enemies that are killed. We have to decide what they're going to drop, and then actually make the events that make them drop those things. So we're going to want to go into the gameplay events and figure out, was an animation called Die? That's for the hero. I guess we're not doing that for the Birdman, even though I think he's a spriter object as well, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's why. It's because we're not using his death animation. We're just making the same explosion happen after he dies.
Oh, right.
That's why. Okay, so... Oh, yeah, so it's the explosion we need to look for. I think it's called Splody. Oh, well.
It might just be Splosion. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. We'll just check here. Yep, Splosion. Okay. Explosion. Alright, so this is when the Falcon dies. Bashed Falcon. Alright. And Birdman. So here, I'm surprised that... Oh, it's Falcon. Okay, that's fine. So this is where they die. So we just need to... We'll just create a little sub-event so it's easy to copy and paste. Add blank sub-event. So we're going to add all that stuff in here, but we're also going to need to move the destroy, because we want to create stuff at its location, so we don't want to destroy it until the other stuff is created at its location, so its location data will make sense. Alright, so we will create... So now we have to decide what it's going to drop. Of course, we can always change this quite easily at any time.
Do you think maybe it should be randomized? Like, could be either one, like 50-50 chance, or...
I was thinking about that and how random we should make things, and I think this kind of game with its gameplay style is perfect for speedrunning. And since that's the case, I think it's best to avoid randomness as much as possible.
Okay.
Like, I think it would be good if it were a game that you can just get really good and fast at if you memorize the patterns and just get really good at the twitch reactions and stuff like that.
Okay.
Create object. And we need the... Alright, we will do... Well, I guess let's just try one of each for now. That'll make testing the easiest. FG. And then for its X, we're going to add a little bit of randomization only to the exact position that they appear.
Okay.
Since that should not affect gameplay really in any way. Since they will automatically fly up to the HUD, it's not going to make the player take longer to grab it or something like that. We need the Falcon. Where's Falcon? So we're going to do X coordinate minus. So we're going to give it a range close to the Falcon that it can appear. So the simple way to do that is, let's say we want a range of like 40 pixels across or something like that, that we want the orb to be able to appear at. I guess we know that it's 32 pixels wide, so we'll just do 32. So we're doing Falcon, actually, no, we'll do half that. So Falcon minus 16. Yeah, exactly. Falcon minus 16 plus random. Yep. And then in parentheses, we're going to do 32. So it could be anywhere from, there's the center, which would be, and then there's negative 16. And then since we're starting at negative 16, if you plus 32, that'll be positive 16. So it can be anywhere within the width of the actual Falcon sprite that this thing will appear.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then we'll just do the same thing for the height. In fact, I could just grab this and then change that X to a Y.
Is it going to appear at the origin? Well, I guess the Falcon's origin point is
it's close to center. That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like at its center of gravity, so it should look pretty good. But that's a very good question.
Yeah.
All right. So, and of course, if not, we can always tweak it. So we've just created one of those. That's good. And now we're going to just copy and paste that and right click and choose replace object. And we're going to replace the earned health with the earned magic. So now it spawns one of each, and they're both randomly placed. So that's fine. But of course, currently they don't do anything once they appear. In fact, if I check here, I didn't alter their behaviors yet, but I know I gave them bullet behavior. So the issue will be enabled at start. So they're just going to start flying to the right at a slow speed at the moment. I'm kind of surprised there's no initial angle. That would have been really nice.
Right, yeah.
But anyhow, and so let's just look. Straight up is 270 apparently. So let's see, let's do that. Let's actually make them start. Yeah, we'll just make them start going straight up. So we'll do that search filter again. SPLOSI. Alright, so it's 43. There it is. And so we are going to change their angles to 270. So we'll do the first one and set angle of motion to 270. And put that right there, and then copy and paste it. Right click and replace object with that. Okay. So now they're going to go straight upward for now. So we can just really quickly test this to make sure it's working as expected.
Okay.
Remind myself what buttons what. Take that. Oops. There, nice. There they go. Alright, save progress. And let's go back here. So now we're going to need just a few events to control the behavior of these things. But actually, before we do that, now that we have that easy, that's line 40, what was it, 43? Yeah. So I'll just copy this whole thing, and then we can paste it. Now I can do the search for Splusion again to find the one for Birdman, which is right here. And then Oh, actually, I just realized I did not move, like I said I would need to, I did not move the, so let's see, 43 and 54. Go back to 43. All right. Remember I said we would need to move the destroy?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it didn't matter, but I still would rather, just for the sake of logic, especially once we have a lot of them on screen, I want to be sure it knows it's still talking about this particular Falcon,
right,
and that we're sure we have its XY data correct before we destroy it. So now we're going to click over here so we affect everything at once, and we're going to replace object. We're going to replace the Falcon. Oh, it's a sprite. I don't think we can replace it with a sprite or object. Okay, so we're going to have to do that part manually, which is no big. All right, so let me get back in here. Okay, so Falcon X will become Birdman X. Otherwise, we'll keep everything the same. Let's see. Birdman X. So now that we have this, we know we can just copy Birdman like so. Make sure we don't have two periods like I do. There we go. And then the same thing here. Just double click, get rid of Falcon, and replace it with Birdman. There we go. Now when we kill Birdman, they should appear the same way. Let's double check that. Oops. Come on. There we go. Yep. Nice. All right, and I guess we might as well, since we're here, it kind of makes sense to me if we make him give more stuff. So we'll create yet another one of these, and we will fix its angle as well. So hopefully let me just quickly test it. Now we're creating two of the same thing in quick succession. I just want to make sure they both always get their angle changed properly. Nice. All going up. Okay. So now we are going to create a group of events. Add group, and this is going to be called Earned Energy. So our first event for that group is going to be, we will do every so many seconds, and we'll make it pretty frequent. We'll do a 1/10 of a second, I guess. And then, while I'm at it, I might as well drag this into the actual group.
I think you did a 100th.
Oh,
of a second.
You are correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's always important when working on a game with someone that at least one person has had a decent amount of sleep sometime in the last week. All right. So, okay. So we will do Earned Magic for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to increase its speed. So we're going to set its speed to its own speed. And then we will just do something simple like +4 or something like that. Oh, it's going to increase maybe too fast. We'll see. And we need to adjust its angle. And right, actually for today, since the other thing will be more complicated than I can probably handle with my current state of fatigue, and we've got quite a few things to do, so we'll just make it simple and make these objects just go in a straight line right up to their particular target. So to do that, we're just going to do Earned this. We're going to set angle of motion in the bullet behavior itself, and then we're going to calculate an angle, which is just the word angle, and then we have to replace these. So we are going to start with the object itself, its x, and then its y, and then these are the target object, which is going to be, we need the HUD stuff. The HUD.
I see magic fill meter.
There you go.
And then I see
yeah, there it is.
Energy.
Well, this is definitely one of them. I wonder why we don't. I must have used. Oh, it would be like health fill meter. That makes sense.
Probably.
But this is the one we want. Okay. And then Y. Done. And we are going to do the same thing with this. Replace object, replace this with this, and we're also going to replace this with health fill meter. There it is. Okay. So now they're each going to go toward their target thing, and they're going to go faster and faster. So let's quickly make sure this works. I don't like to break multiple things at once, so I'm testing each step of the way.
Right.
And they're getting faster, and they're each going toward their thing. What's interesting, though, is they didn't go, it didn't look to me like they were going exactly toward the target. They were off target. Did you notice that? Mm-hmm. Let me do one of the Flying Falcons, too, to take a look. Maybe it'll help me figure out what the... Oh, and those are definitely not going the right way. That's interesting. What am I doing wrong here? Set bullet angle of motion to angle earned magic energy.
And you're setting it every 10th of a second?
Yeah. I mean, I could theoretically just make it happen once, because that angle... Oh, maybe that has to do with it, because one thing is on a layer that scrolls and one is on a layer that doesn't scroll at all.
Right, yeah. Maybe you need to spawn the energy orbs on the HUD layer? HUD layer, yeah, or something like that.
That's really interesting. I wonder what would happen. Are they going to appear in the right place, or are they going to also be offset based on... You know what I mean? Like, if you make them appear in that layer, it might mess up the coordinates. So there might...
Maybe once they spawn, you immediately, like...
Switch them to the other layer?
Switch it to one on the HUD layer, and then that one travels. That might be the best way to do it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no matter what, we might need to somehow convert it from the coordinate of the scrolled screen versus the non-scrolled, or I shouldn't say screen, I should say layer. But anyway, let's just quickly try. So I'm going to type earned. So when we spawn them, I'm just going to quickly try. We'll do it with with the Birdman for now, since he appears first. So here it is. We're going to make that appear on the HUD layer. And we'll see if
they spawn in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I forgot we're doing 3 items. HUD. Whoops. And then HUD. Let's see what happens. I've never done this with spawning in different layers, one that scrolls versus one that doesn't. They appeared in the wrong place, but now they're properly shooting for that. So we actually need to compensate somehow for the fact that we've got one layer with the
different coordinate system.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we are back. There was a little splice we had to do because we had to try a bunch of things to get this to work. We tried creating it and then moving it to the layer, but every time there was a problem because the x coordinates of a layer with its scrolling ratio set to 0, it's basing its coordinates based on like 0 is the left of the screens, the other 0 is the top of the screen. So there was this, when you move it, it's going to just be, if you've scrolled in the actual foreground layout, then when you just make something appear in the HUD, it's going to be in totally the wrong position because of that offset. So we needed to figure out how to do the math, and then we went down this rabbit hole with this built-in behavior, which neither of us understand yet because you're supposed to be able to convert specifically for that thing, but even when you're trying to convert specifically to find the x, it asks for the x and y of the object, which doesn't make any sense. I'll have to figure out what's up with that some other time, but the math to calculate it ourselves wasn't that difficult, which is what we did here. So we changed, double click. When you create the object, we're creating it directly on the HUD, but we are using our own little computation here using viewport left for x and viewport y. So we're doing the actual x coordinate of the Birdman, which would be largely offset if you've scrolled, but then we're subtracting viewport left of that particular layer that is scrolled. So that is compensating That's basically subtracting the amount we've scrolled from the number. So the resulting number is perfect for HUD, and that works perfectly. The only problem is, in figuring out that this works, I got rid of the randomness. So now we're going to add that back in. So I'm going to encapsulate this in its own parentheses for now, and then I'm going to do minus a 16, and then we're going to do more parentheses, and we're going to do, and then plus, and then in parentheses, random parentheses. I think there's one extra parentheses, a set of parentheses that I don't really need, and then random 32. So that should work. So now I'm just going to copy that and paste it, and then we're going to change the x's to y's. And then, or I should say x to y, and then this viewport left should be viewport top. And I think that's all good. So let's run it and see if it works. Okay, let's kill this Birdman. Yep, that appeared in the right place, and it is going perfectly for where it's supposed to be going. That is good. The only issue is I think I set the... I'll fix that right now. People who paid careful attention may have seen that I think I had this set, to the top instead of the center. So ideally it'll be going to the center. So I will just fix that. We'll put it in the center. In fact, we'll do quick assign middle, just to make sure it's exactly correct, and then apply to whole animation, even though I think it's only, it is a bunch of frames. Okay. So then we'll move that where it belongs, and then do the same thing here. So quick assign middle, and then apply to whole animation, and then fix its position, save our progress. And now we just need to go into the gameplay events. And now that that's working properly, we just need to do the same thing for this. We'll just delete this and this, and we're going to copy this, move it here, and we're going to replace object, and we're going to replace it with, I'm going to replace this with earned magic, and then copy it again and put it here. So now that should all work perfectly, and we need to do the same thing in here. So I'll just quickly redo it from scratch, I think. So it's going to be HUD. And then this is correct, but now we want that minus viewport left of FG. And then this will be minus viewport top of FG.
Nice.
There we go. And then same exact thing here, HUD. And then this is going to be minus viewport left, FG, and then minus viewport top, FG. I think that's all good. And then, so obviously the last thing we need to do is do something once they reach that spot. So I'm going to save progress, and I realized I do need to check. I imported the frames, but I imported it all as one animation. You can see it's default. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. I need to be here. There we go. So there's only one animation at the moment with all the frames, and that is not correct. We need, we'll duplicate the animation. We'll call it filled. And filled should not loop, but it should actually have a speed. We'll make it 10 for now. And we're going to get rid of the frames for when it... Alright, so let's say it'll start and then fade back out to empty. That is correct. And then in the default animation, we're going to get rid of... I think this is the almost full, and this is...
Yeah, I think number Let's see. I think number 6 is the totally full one.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
like,
So
yeah.
from 7 on, we're getting rid of them.
Yeah.
All right. So 0 through 6 is what we want. I think that is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to do the same thing here. So default, we're creating. No, we're duplicating. And we're calling it, what did I call it? Filled, I think. And so in default, we're getting rid of everything from 7 upward.
So you got rid of...
I should have been counting. Let's see. This feels like too many, though.
Yeah, I mean...
Let's see. I think it starts here.
A sort of quick flash and then a fade out. It might be too many frames, though. We'll,
Right.
just see how it looks.
All right, so 0 through 3, I think we have them identical now. Oh, and this one's filled though lowercase. It might not matter, but I'll just make them the same.
Mm-hmm.
Rename uppercase. There we go. All right. So now, what we need to do... Oh, also, come to think of it, yeah, well, I could just use their frame number, actually. That's kind of interesting. But it will give us more flexibility if we use a variable.
Right, yeah.
All right, so I guess I won't be lazy and I'll actually add the variable. So instance variable will be, but for now we're going to keep it a 1-to-1 ratio. We'll make it so each orb fills it 1 animation frame. But maybe later we'll introduce bigger orbs that different enemies drop or something.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, we will just do filledness. That's a real word, I swear. It's filledness, and it starts at 0, and that's good. And then here, same thing. So instance variable, filledness, and it starts at 0. But since they start totally empty and the first frame is filled by 1 pixel, we're going to make these...
Go
ahead.
You're adding...
Oh, I'm adding it to the wrong thing. Thank you.
Orbs,
Good point. I'm glad one of us is on the ball. All right, so let me delete those. Yeah, exactly. Gameplay events. So now we have a new thing going on that's going to say that when this on collision with or overlapped, we'll do on collision with, and this one targets earned health. So this is the red one, health fill meter. So when it collides, we're going to add to that variable in the, what is it called? Filled? Magic fill meter. No, it's health fill meter, okay? We're going to add to its filledness. We're going to add 1. And then we're going to copy and paste this. Oh, and let's destroy it too. Earned health energy. For now, we will just destroy it. It's under miscellaneous destroy. Okay, copy and paste, and we're going to replace object, and we're going to first replace earned with earned magic energy. There it is, and we're going to replace the meter with this meter. Okay, but so far they don't visually update, which is what we want to do next. So for now, this can be really easy, and we can just say, what is it? Magic fill meter. Oops. So we'll just do every tick for now.
And I think you'll have to actually set the frame to be -1 of the variable, because start at 0 and the variable will start at 1. Yeah.
Good point. Okay, so we're doing magic.
Which I don't know if that'll cause an issue with like when it's initially there and it's at 0. Like if it tries to minus.
Oh right. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it'll crash it or anything. I think it'll just
Right.
All right. So we're going to set its frame to be the value. Oh, and we can also do a maximum.
Right.
and then we've got 0 maximum, right? A 0 or the current value, which again is earned, magic. Magic fill meter, filledness, -1, right?
Mm-hmm.
-1. And then we will do this, and we're going to replace the object. I'm going to replace, yep, there we go. All right, so now, theoretically, unless we mess something up, let's see what happens. They should go up there, they should disappear, and it should fill the meter. There they go, and we're going to make them move way faster. Okay, it's not filling the meter yet, so that is a problem.
Is it because you used max instead of minimum, or
that confuses me all the time? So it's certainly possible.
I'm not sure.
Oh, of course, I set them to invisible. So we need to say if it is greater, if the value is greater than 0, then make it visible. That was why. Okay, so this is definitely a case where we could put them in a family and do it with one event, but it's no big deal at the moment. So magic. Oh, I wasn't in here. Magic. So this compare instance variable fillness is greater than 0. We need to make it visible. Magic fill meter set visible. There we go. And then we need to do the inverse also, so that when it empties, actually no, we don't, but we do need to replace object with that. Okay, so and then we're going to make it so that once it plays the filled animation, it'll automatically go back to invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And it will spawn one of those pickups depending on if it's health or the other thing.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what we have so far. It should be working now. They should fill up to that point anyway. Oh yeah, I should speed them up too. This is wasting our time. There, look at that.
Nice.
Very, very nice. Okay.
Getting that energy.
Yep. Okay, so now all we need to do is make this say when we'll do the, what is it called, magic. When its frame, compare frame, is equal to 6, right? Because it's from 0 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to, I think this will work the way I want it to. Let's see. There is a wait command, which is pretty cool. So we're going to make it wait a half a second so you can actually see it fill up first, and then it'll do its thing. If this doesn't work, we can simply prolong the first frame of it.
Right.
And then, yeah, of the filled animation, and it'll be pretty much the same difference. So, but let's try this. It's because I never use wait. So let's see if I actually know how to use it properly. So we're going to wait a half a second, and then we're going to make the magic fill meter set its animation to filled uppercase. And then we will do the same thing. Replace object with, oh, that's interesting. Magic fill meter. Oh yeah, that could be anything. That's why. So this is health fill meter. Okay. And then let's see, set animation to filled. And oh yeah, the other thing we need to do is set its value to 0. So magic fill meter set value filledness back to 0. That's good. We'll do the same thing here. Oops, and replace
and
object.
Then it should just automatically turn invisible.
Good point. Good point. Excellent. All right. So, but that's once the animation is done playing.
Right.
So that's done, and then so we need to do that. Let's see. Magic. All right. Let's see, unfinished, animation finished, and it's filled. Once it's done, we're going to magic.
Oh,
yep, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it should. What I was saying was based on your code there.
Yep.
It's saying that if the variable is above 0, to make it visible. Well, no, you're right. You do have to turn it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's good. It needs to be that way. Yeah.
Yep. And then same thing here, and this is where we'll actually spawn the actual object. And we could use the wait in a clever way here again so that it doesn't appear with super exact timing each time. Like it might take that remote wizard slightly longer to make the thing and send it to you.
Right.
So we could add a little bit of randomness to that if we want to. So we'll do it for now and decide later if we like the randomness or don't. So I've copied it, and now I need to replace the object with health. Let's meter fill. Okay. All right. So set invisible. Oh yeah. So we're going to wait. So we'll do 1 second plus random 2 seconds. Same thing here. And then we're going to create an object, and for this we will copy is it called health? What's it called? I want to see the point where we spawn. Let's see what it's called. It is, yep, health pickup. Okay. So, oops, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Health pickup. Hey, why isn't that working? Gameplay events. Why didn't that work? There we go. That was weird. All right, this is the one. We're gonna eventually get rid of this whole thing. So I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna disable this. Toggle disabled, so now we're only going to be able to earn them. That'll help us make sure we're properly debugging. Clear that, and then down here we're going to paste that in. But wait, this is for magic. We want it for health. So we're going to wait randomness between 1 second and 3 seconds, and we're going to create it and set its angle properly, and we're going to do the same thing for this, but we're going to replace this object with flame pickup. Very cool.
Nice.
All right, let's see if this works. Oh, I did want to speed those up because they're super slow. So we're going to start these at a much faster speed. We'll say 80 at least, and then we'll make it get faster quicker as well. So gameplay events, clear search, and let's see, where is that? It's every so many seconds. Here it is. Speed, we will increase much faster. Okay. Save progress, and let's run it and see what happens. Oh, by the way, did I fix, I don't remember, did I fix when the birds die? Did they spawn properly on the HUD layer and all that stuff? Alright.
Oh,
we'll soon see. Well, yeah. Nope. That didn't work, right? Or maybe it did. I don't think so.
I think it worked.
Oh yeah, it's worked. Oh no, that was Birdman again. Hold on. I'm using the wrong buttons. Darn it. Oh yeah, no, it's working. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like the animation speed may be set to 0 accidentally. Let's see if that's...
Yeah.
Let's fix that. So I'll just double click here. Filled. Speed 10. Loop no. Oh no, that's interesting. Let's make sure in its default... I did say if it's 6, did I accidentally say 7? Like if I'm checking for frame 7, that would obviously be a problem. But I thought it was 6.
It swapped to the first frame of that animation.
That's true.
But it's...
that's why. That's why. What I have to do, or I think that's why. So if animation frame is 6, wait a half a second, set animation filled, set filledness. Yeah, play from beginning. Well, as soon as I switch this and do it to beginning, let's get rid of wait 0. Maybe I don't know how this works and I'm causing trouble here. So let's quickly test that. It feels like it's just constantly resetting. Like it's
resetting the wait time every frame, I guess.
Well, I was thinking resetting, like it's keeps over and over again switching to that same animation, so it's stuck on frame 1 or frame 0, I should say. All right, we're getting close. Oh, same problem.
Doing the same thing, basically. Oh wait,
both. Go ahead.
It advanced the animation a little bit when you got more orbs. That's strange.
Whoa, weird.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the logic here. Animation frame equals 6. Well, I mean, one thing I can do just to make things more careful is to add another condition and limit condition so it only happens once when that condition is true. Trigger once while true.
I mean, is the animation speed just so slow that it's...
It didn't look it, and then let's say that's here. I mean, that's supposed to be 10 frames per second. I think that's what 10 means. So that shouldn't be that slow. Speed 10, and if I click here, frames per second.
Yeah.
And it should only play once, and then it should go back to invisible and all that.
Very weird.
Once I added trigger once, did I test it again? Let's see.
Oh.
Alright. I'm getting better at killing enemies.
Now it's not even playing it. It's filled up and it's...
Huh. What is going on?
Yeah.
Alright, I am back. After much trying, Corey figured out the issue. And that is, if you remember, we have every tick set animation frame to basically the value of the variable filledness, and that's regardless of what animation is playing, so that's a big problem. So we need to replace these every tick with replace condition, and this one is magic. So it should instead be compare is playing, and this will be default. So now it won't, so that's what was freezing the animation. So very often it's something, such a simple oversight that can really confuse you. Alright, so replace object. There we go. Okay. I think it will all work now. Oops. Okay, filling up. Drum roll, please. Well, it's full now, but you know what? This could be that simple thing that I undid. Let's make this based on the variable filledness instead, like we tried before. Place condition. So this is magic. And compare instance variable, and we're going to do filledness is greater or equal to 7. And we're going to do the same thing here, and then replace object and health. Okay, and I think that's it. If this doesn't work, I guess I'll make the enemies spawn more so we fill the meter faster to test faster.
Yeah. I it's still not.
Oh, what I forgot to do too is make the text, and we're going to set it to string, and then we'll just do the magic meter, magic fill meter, filledness. So what is happening? Why isn't this working? Scroll down. Hey, scroll down.
I mean, what I was wondering is, like, since you're setting the filledness to 0 right after you start playing the animation, is that...
No, because it now knows that it's filled. It's definitely set to filled. And here we're checking it has to be at default for this to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely should not be the case. That's really weird.
Maybe try setting the filledness back to 0 after the animation, after that filled is finished playing, like down at the bottom where you've got the animations finishing.
Might as well. Can't do any harm.
I mean, that it wouldn't change the way it works necessarily, but it could potentially.
Right.
I don't know. That could be the issue, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It would be very strange if this worked, but...
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. I should make it fill faster. Like we could just make each orb add 2 to the value, or 5, or whatever we want. That would be the smart way to do it. Come on! Oh, I can't believe I did. It's because I switched to this other controller, which has reversed buttons, and so we're at 8, and it's greater or equal. So what is going on?
It's still not working. So that wasn't the issue. It's not the filledness getting set back to 0. That's not the problem. So it's trigger once, filledness greater than or equal to 7, set animation to fill, play from beginning. That is so simple. I don't understand how that could be wrong.
No, it's not working. Hold on a second. I'm going to make sure, like we did that other time, that there's no typos in there. So double click, filled, rename, and we're going to copy that, and then just let me check again. Like if you click on a specific frame, there's the frame speed, but it's 0 on all of them, so that's not a problem. And it's capital F. We're going to paste that in anyway directly. So set animation to, pasted it right in. It looks like nothing's changing. And I'm going to really quickly, on collision, we're just going to immediately make it fill up. So it should instantaneously do the thing. So that's going to make testing way faster. And same problem. Okay. All right, we're back yet again. There were a couple of issues we found that I still don't understand why it was causing the particular bug, but we got rid of limit once while true under filledness is greater than 0. We made sure that set filledness to 0 was back up, so immediately it sets it back to 0. Once this is true, which is another reason why we would not need limit once while true. And then the other thing that we noticed is that in this particular object, its filled animation was set to a speed of 0. And I think, was that it, Corey? Is that all we changed? I think
that's all we really had to do. Yeah. That's it.
So now everything seems to be working with the power-ups appearing, and we already have code for the health pickup to work, so that should all now be working how we want it to. And if I can remember what button jumps, geez, let's try that again. Every time I pick up this controller again, I end up using the wrong button. So 1, 2, and then there, that works perfectly. Alright, so now we just need to make the event to give us the flame firepower. But before we do, did I mention we also got rid of the wait so many seconds in here?
Oh,
and these two? Yeah. That was the other thing we did, which might not even be necessary. but since I'm not used to using weight, I figured I'd get rid of it for now, just in case it was the troublemaker. And it's all at least working now, so we can try experimenting at some other point and adding weight back in, or coming up with another way to add a delay. But for now, it's just about getting the core functionality working the way it should. So the next set of stuff will be adding the firepower, and then actually making the firepower have the different visual effect, which should be relatively easy. Dangerous words for us to say at my current level of fatigue. And and then making the air bash affect the enemies differently. Like, basically the attack should do more damage to the enemies, and when you do the air bash on the flying enemy, it should do the on fire variation of their animation, and it should blow up when it hits the ground or when it hits another enemy, and also obviously do more damage. So that's the plan. Actually, I think we'll just wrap it up for this video right now, and I'll try to get this video up on YouTube tonight, and then tomorrow we'll do the follow-up video and allow the player to actually grab the firepower and make the firepower have all the effects it's supposed to. So we'll just have 2 videos in quick succession. So that's it for this one. Thanks everyone for watching.